in case.
Yes.
We did it. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. So, for everyone who does not know, I'm Jillian Stein, one of the owners of Blue Box Press and 1001 Dark Nights, and I am here with New York Times bestselling author of over 90 titles, by the way, Kristen Ashley, and we're super happy to be here today. It's our first foray onto YouTube, so hopefully it works out and everyone enjoys what we're doing. And we are here to celebrate, and this will come out, I believe, either release day or the release week. The release of Kristen Ashley's Finding the One, which is the seventh book, lucky number 7, in the River Rain series. And we were just talking off camera earlier that I know it's like picking a favorite child, but this might be one of my favorites of the series.
Yeah,
Um,
I hate to say it about because they are all my children, but
yeah.
there's a definitely a special place in my heart for this book that I don't know. Well, I do know. You know what it is.
I mean, and not to give, I mean, I guess we'll start not with too many spoilers for people who have not read this yet, who had the opportunity to read it early, or people who are in the middle of it. Hopefully everyone has picked it up at least by now. So this is Dare and Blake's story. And if you've read the series to any point up until now, or any of the books Blake has mentioned, and she's got a pretty rough past in this series and really needs some redemption. And it was funny because not funny, but there was a comment on social media that someone was like, oh my gosh, like Blake, how are we going to redeem Blake? Because she's had a pretty rough go of things.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier about writing redeemable characters and what that story arc is and that character arc is like. What was that like when she first showed up in the series and kind of had her rough go of things? Did you know that she was going to have a redemption story? Did you already know, like, all right, we're going to give this gal her HEA at some point?
No, I didn't like
Okay.
her because I mean she was the epitome of a mean girl. And
Yes.
so not only just a mean girl, like straight up not a nice person. All the things that she did, she's introduced in Taking the Leap, which is Alex, her sister's story. And before she's even really on the page, she
Yeah.
does terrible things to Alex.
Yeah.
And so, but then when we meet her, on top of being mean, she's spoiled, rotten, she's privileged, and she's just a mess. I mean, she makes Alex's life a living hell. She makes her father's life a living hell. She's just this terrible person. But when there's a scene in Taking the Leap, closer to the end, which I don't want to spoil that one either,
I
but where,
know, I know. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard.
yes, well, Alex kind of extends an olive branch, and I guess something clicks in Blake,
Yeah.
and 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 that's when I'm like, maybe there's something here. Because if you can't self-reflect, if you can't take a moment and look at your behavior, I mean, I adjust all the time. You
Yeah.
know, we all can be better people, and we need to continue to learn about how we can be better people, be kinder, be more patient, whatever it is that you have to that you have to work on. And if you can't do that, then you're irredeemable. And Blake clearly could do that. And so, of course, that snapped in my head. I'm like, well, what would that look like for
Yeah.
Blake? Because she doesn't really have anything in her past to latch on to that's good. So, how is she going to build herself? And that's what I find really fascinating and cool about this book, is that there were things that, she kept some of that stuff, and it only made her a strong person.
Yeah.
She got rid of all of the crap, all of the dark stuff that made it ugly, and she's
Yeah.
turned it around, and I love her.
I mean, honestly, and that's it. Like, and there's something to be said too, like coming with age, right? So like she kind of went through it when she was younger, and then as she's getting older, she's realizing the behavior was not so great, and maybe there are personality traits of hers that is not so great. she doesn't admit it at first, but out loud, but you know that she's kind of going through this internal like, ooh, that wasn't great. And then in this book, obviously, this is her turning point, and she really does kind of go through it. I mean, and there were so many emotional moments that I was like, you could see, no matter who you are, I think you can see yourself in Blake in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Because we all, like you said, there always is some kind of self-reflection. And there's always this journey that none of us are the same person we were even like a year ago, 2 years ago, especially, when she was a little bit, a little bit younger. And I think that that's also where Dare comes into play, because he's known her forever.
Yes.
So he has seen her kind of go through it, kept,
Yes.
kept his feelings to, kept his thoughts and feelings to himself a little bit. But now it's this pivotal moment where they're both kind of thrown together in this situation. And
Mhm.
I mean, oh my God, I love him.
Oh, yes.
I
Yeah.
mean, love him. Like what? Love, love, love that man.
Yes. He's, well, obviously there's a romance and he's perfect for her.
Yeah.
And he's perfect for her for just what you were explaining.
Yeah.
He's known her since she was a little girl. And
Mhm.
so he knows about her antics,
Mhm.
and the person that she was becoming. And but also he has the insight into why that was what happened to her. And one of the things about Blake that I really like, especially when it comes to Dare coming on the scene, is that she's not like, okay, I see I was wrong and I was a bad person. So this is me, this is the new me, love me.
Yeah.
She recognizes that she was a bitch,
Yeah.
and she punishes herself for that. I mean,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to say that that was the right way to go, but that it is the way that we do it in our head. We're harder on ourselves than anybody else can be on us. And Blake is hard on herself. And so she needed Dare, to hold up his mirror of how he sees her, and be able to communicate that in a mature way, with that bond that they have, that they've known each other for so long. And he's just a great guy.
Yeah.
He's fun loving, he's loyal.
Yeah.
He loves very, very deeply, he's close with his family, all the things that I think she wants in her life, close with her family, and he's perfect. He's perfect.
I mean, honestly,
Scott Rugby, Scott Rugby player.
in him with his dog. There are so many, like, that's one of the things that I love too, is like you have such multifaceted characters that they're very, three-dimensional. They feel like you could literally like go and visit him and in his beautiful home, and just they're there. Like it feels like they're real people. How do you do that? Like, do these characters come to you and you're just like, maybe he needs something more of this, or maybe if he needs to have a dog because that would make him even more likable and even more just real, and just the guy that you want to know and be friends with and date. Like, what is that process like?
I they just happen. I don't have any of that kind of thing. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's a kind of magic that I'm
Yeah.
fortunate enough to have. I see I see it all in my head, and to me they are very real.
Yeah.
To me, for the most part, I can see what they look like. I can hear what they sound like. I know exactly what their homes look like, the floor plans, how you get through them, all of this kind of stuff. So I don't know. I'm just very lucky. But for this series, I also write it with my River Rain team, which is a
Yes.
group of readers. And they help me if I ever get stuck with anything. And now it's gone to the point on book 7 where they because I'm writing in between, and
Mhm.
I'm sure they're reading in between, but they know these characters. It sometimes feel like they know these characters better than I do. So
Right.
if I get stuck on something, or if I need something, or if I need a little push, I go to them, and I give them options and they vote on it, or I ask them what their ideas are and they throw them up, and then I can move along.
And that's the first time you've done this, right? Like kind of working,
Never have reader feedback like that.
because normally it's like, stay away from the reader feedback, don't write to committee. But the
Right.
way that you're involving the readers in this is really fun, especially for somebody who's a reader and who got into this because I was a reader. That's so cool to be like, oh, I helped one of my favorite authors figure out the pet's name or the location or something else that was going on. I mean, it's really, really cool that you decided to do that. And like you said, they're trained at this point that they know 7 books in. I know that I'm going to be able to do something really fun with the next book.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's very cool.
It's, and I love doing that so much that every time I get into a new River Rain book, I think I'm just going to do this with all my books because it's so fun
Yeah.
with my readers. And then I think, no, this might be
Maybe not.
it'd be a bit much if I keep asking them what dress somebody's going to wear to a wedding.
But it's fun because then you're like, I'm going to live vicariously through that character because I'm going to put them in some beautiful Oscar de la Renta
Yes.
$10,000 gown. Like that's totally what I'm going to put her in.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
But you definitely, and I would agree in the sense that how you feel like what it is when you write, that's how and I don't want to speak for everybody, but that's how I feel when I read them. So for example, the beginning of this book, the wedding scene with the too many martinis, I mean, like, and then going home the next day, and then Derek kind of poking fun, being like, "Oh yeah, no, you're heading over to the firehouse because you promised you were going to make breakfast for everyone," and she's like, "What did I do?" All of that to me played out exactly like it would in a rom-com.
Good. I'm glad. I'm glad. That's what I'm going for. It's and there. I mean, there is a there. I don't ever struggle writing because I love to do it, and it usually flows really easily. But there is all of my books would probably be like 900 pages long if I let loose, because
Yeah.
I would tell you where every blade of grass was. So there's really you have to strike a balance with putting your reader in the right place and without overwhelming them with detail. And I know I have it from both sides. I have some readers, I've scaled back from some of my earlier books with some of the detail I put in, and I've had some readers say they wish that returned. Whereas before, I had a lot of readers say I get bogged down in that detail. So I try to find the balance of the two so you can be in that place. So I'm glad that works for you because that means a lot.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, there was not, I don't think, a wasted word in any of the books that I've read lately. I mean, we go all the way back. But to your point too, what's it like? Because some readers might not know that if you go back and you're writing a book in a series, you tend to go back and read the last few books or more than a few books in the series to get kind of back into that headspace.
Well, I have two things I do now.
Oh,
If I have time, this one I couldn't read all 6 books
right.
previously, so I read Taking the Leap
Okay.
to center myself in that. And then I have very detailed Bibles
Mhm.
about everything, about every single character, timelines, made up businesses, whatever. So I can refer back to them if I need to, if I
Yeah.
may forget Hale's eye color or something like
Right.
that. But the preference is to really immerse myself in the world and start from the beginning. So eventually it'll get to the point where I've read the book so often I won't have to do that, because I could tell you all about Rock Chick stuff because I read and reread those, that was over a decade ago. So with any new book I write in any series, I try to reread the entire series before I get into the next one, so I can get the feel of the characters and just slide back into that world.
It's pretty remarkable. And then when you go back and reread to the point of, like we were just talking about, you've taken some of the description out and like to make it sure that it's not as bogged down. Do you go back and you think like, oh, I wish I did more in this one scene, or oh, I wish I took some things out? Like,
No, once it's done, I'm good with it. Yeah, I don't tend to, I mean, I don't want typos.
Well, no.
But other than that, I'm happy when it's,
Yeah,
if I wasn't happy with it, I would have changed it before it got to that point. Yeah.
yeah.
There's only one book in all the books I've written that I felt that I wrote too fast. And that, and I might go, I would maybe have gone back and filled it out a little bit. And that's Raid in the Unfinished Hero series. But that was ages ago. And but people love that book. So
Right. So you're like, well, I guess what I did was perfect and it worked for the readers.
yeah. But that's, I mean, I've now published 101 books. This will be 102. And so
Oh,
I mean, I think one book, you know, I wish, I still love it, and I wish I'd made some, you know, done some, not done anything different with the narrative, but just fiddled with it a little bit more. That's pretty good in 102
I
books.
mean, I'll say, like, you're like, I still love it. I just wish I tweaked one or two things. I mean, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
102 books. I have to like put this down. 102 is book number 7. That's, oh my gosh, that's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and now this is book 7 of 7. Do you think that there's more left in the series that you want to explore? Not to
Yes.
put you on the spot.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely.
I
I
mean,
would,
it's
yes. We have Zoe, Gage, Sasha. These are the people I think that are hanging. Zoe and Gage, Duncan's sons, Sasha, Jenny and Tom's daughter, Reese, and Drew and Cadence. But I'm going to say that all of those people are already paired up with each other.
Mhm.
In my head.
I know, I was like, not out there yet, but they are there.
No, but I mean, you can't, I mean, if you read the other books, except for Reese and Sasha, you can't, it's on the page already. You know that what the future is going to bring, except nobody knows Reese. So, and
Maybe
I
somebody
like to do
does.
something for Matt too, but it might be a novella. I might do like a Sharing the Miracle type of thing for Matt, because I would like Matt to have, I feel like I'm not, I'm obviously not a man, but I think it's clear, it's a clear thing for men to struggle if they don't have good father figures, or their father has done something against who they think their father is. So I have always felt really deeply for what Matt went through when Tom did what he did.
Yes.
And I love it that they've found they've come to a place of forgiveness, but I just think that really marked him, especially since he was dealing with his sexuality at the same time,
Yes.
and coming out, and how fraught that is. And
Yeah.
so I would really like to him to have everything he could possibly want. So
Same.
I would like to do a throuple with him. So because he's bi, and I would like him to have this. And I've already picked the girl. We've met her,
Yeah.
and I haven't picked the guy. And so I want him to just have this really solid, full life with people that get him to the core, and back, and just, and that way he knows that he has this family that loves him, but at home he has this relationship that's fulfilling in every way it can be. Now I don't know how I'm going to do that in novella, but it would be fun.
All this, I'm like, she said novella, right? But even novellas, I mean, your novellas are like full-length books anyway. So it's like, you think novellas like 125 pages, not Kristen Ashley's novellas.
I submit my
It's great
novella
for
to
all the reasons.
60,000 words, and you're like, It's not really novella length.
But I mean, like and you talking about him, like it brings back all like the memories. And this series as a whole, there's a lot of really emotional, important moments where
Yes.
it's like you want these, I don't want to say secondary characters because they're not, but you want them to have their happily ever after, or you just want to see a glimpse into like, where are they now? Are they okay? Are they living the life that they deserve and authentically want to be? And like all of that, because now, like I said, we're totally invested in these people because they feel like they're real.
Yeah.
I mean, even in this book, wow, there are some sad and heavy moments in this book.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not going to spoil anything, but there are some moments like when I was reading it, I'm like, no, no way. I mean, even when we were talking through and like talking about like, teasers and promo and the one person that we were speaking about, and you're like, well, this happens to her. And it's very shocking, but it's a pivotal moment that plays into Blake's journey in this book.
Yeah.
Um, what is it like to write those super, like when you wrote that one scene where you're like, okay, I'm really going to go down this road. This is really going to happen. Bad pun, by the way. You really did not actually mean to do that.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. No actual spoilers, but sort of maybe.
um, that's why I like to call this, instead of calling it a series, calling it a saga, because
Yes,
it
absolutely.
really dives deep into the dynamics of relationships and family.
Yes.
Uh, and so I've been wanting to write Blake for a while. And so I knew that what we're talking about was going to happen
Okay.
for probably a couple years now.
Wow.
And but I love how it happened. And I don't mean the it, I
Right.
mean how she found out about the it. And I
Yes.
can see all of that so plain as day in
Yes.
my head, that whole scene.
Yes.
I can see it. I mean, it's almost like I was standing there watching this happen and following Dare around while things were happening, and just like on the edge of my seat until it finally came out. And I'm like, and then my heart was just broken, because it's when you get news like that. I mean, it's just so I don't remember your question. So
Oh, just what, like writing those like heavy, shocking scenes.
it's
Well, at
I
least you knew it was coming.
yeah, I knew it was coming, but boy, was I all in for
Yeah.
that. Then the aftermath of it, I was all in for all of that. And I think you could probably feel through the writing how
Yes.
where because I was in Blake's headspace. So when you get to that part,
Yeah.
we move
Yeah.
completely to Dare's point of view because
Yeah.
she's gone.
It was, and like you just said, I can recall, I mean, and I read this book a little while ago because, perk of a publisher, we get them early. But I can still recall that exact scene from start to finish. I can remember it. Ask me what happened last week. I have no idea. But like that was one of those scenes that I was like, wow. Because again, we've all kind of been there in so many ways. Like you didn't have to go through that exact thing that Blake went through, but you can recall at some point in your life getting some sort of horrible news. And then at that moment, I mean, even though Darren and Blake knew each other for their whole lives, I mean, they kind of are now just exploring this new part of their relationship. And then news happens. And it's that minute of, that's where I think we all realize that's where Dare shines, because he's like, all right, I now I have to take care of her. Like and it was so beautiful. I mean, it was terrible, but it was beautiful because another reason why you just can't help but love him,
Yeah.
the way that he stepped up.
And that was I tapped into when my mom died.
Mhm.
Um, I and it wasn't sudden. I mean, she'd
Right.
had a stroke many years before and she never really recovered from it, but it's still sudden. And so, and I was married at the time, and my husband, I remember sleeping.
Yeah.
And, but I went to work, and, 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 um, and we had, because I lived in England at the time, we had a memorial service a little bit like mom died. We went back home. Um, and I don't remember going to work. I remember sleeping. And
Yeah.
my husband took care of everything.
Yeah.
I do remember walking into the kitchen and looking at the kitchen table and seeing all of the stuff on the kitchen table, which was all the cat food, gifts for his mom and dad for coming down and watching our cats, all of this stuff. And I'm looking at it because I was, unsurprisingly, I was the go-getter in our, I was the one that did everything.
Yeah.
If we were going on vacation, I planned the whole thing. And I got in the car. His dad drove us to Heathrow, and I got on a plane, and I was home. And so I gave that to Dare,
Yeah.
because I was literally in like a week-long fugue state because
Yeah.
I just could not process my mom's death. And
Yeah.
it's weird because I just, and this is a completely personal aside, but I don't remember where I was, but there was I saw this thing that said, envision yourself walking into a room with every single person that you've ever come into contact in that room. Who would you walk, alive or dead? Who would you walk to first? I know that
Wow.
we decided we weren't going to cry during this, and
No problem.
immediately my thoughts went to my mom. And so I mean, everybody knows that I'm still really, really close with my ex-husband, talk
Yes.
every day. And I will forever be thankful for him for just
Yeah.
clicking in and seeing to me during that. And so I gave that to Dare.
Yeah. Shout out to Mark.
Shout out to Mark.
Shout out to Mark. But that's, I mean, and it is, you can see that because that's exactly what Dare did.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, all right, we got to do this. I've known this woman forever, but now we're in this new part of this relationship, and now bad things happen. I mean, like, and it gave her too, like, she didn't have to do everything on her own.
Yeah.
I mean, she could take the time and just try to sort through all those feelings, especially, and then she's a beautiful moment with her sister.
Yes.
I mean, which, no more crying because that, but it,
So much that comes from that horrible moment
yes.
that she has to deal with. And because he deals with, because then more shit happens when
I know it's
where they're going, and he has to deal with all of that. And she can just deal with
yeah.
it's maybe we've dissected why this is such a with one of our favorite, if not the favorite of the series, because because of that second act of the book.
Yeah, I think you're probably, now we just figured it out, because that's the thing. I mean, yeah, because even again, if you haven't gone through the exact thing that happens in this book, you can put yourself into a situation where you can remember exactly where you were when something like this would have happened, and who you relied on, and how they stepped up. So I think you're right. I think we figured it out.
Yeah.
And I mean, not, I agree that this is totally a saga, because it's not just a series, because I feel like putting in a series kind of takes away the emotion, and how the connection for all of these, everyone's so connected, because no family is the same. Everybody's got, family is kind of what you make it. And there's all these different layers to the relationships on every person in this series. And it was really great to see. I mean, Adair's sister in the beginning of the book, forget it. I mean, I want to be her friend. I want to hang out with her. I think we'd have a great time.
I know, she's awesome. She is just she she cracks me up. Dare's mom is pretty
Oh, I
too.
love her too, with her
Yes.
just like stiff upper lip, because she goes through something
Yes.
early on in the book that had happened years ago. I mean, there's so many things that happen, and
Yes.
every personality was just pretty incredible.
Yes. Yeah. And you can really see, in Dare and Davina, you can see Kenna's influence, their mom, and
Yes.
even Bally's influence as well. But Kenna's, they're just free to be who they are, and they are very who they are.
Hmm. Oh my gosh. And they're the best. I mean,
Kenna's dignity is just quiet dignity is really cool, and I love that she's got that.
yeah. Oh my gosh. Because she could have, listen, that woman could have burned the world down.
She could have.
She could have burned it all down. And she was just sitting there with her teacup, like, nope. I mean,
Breakfast.
and Davina's like, oh, thank God, is there a
That
croissant?
would be how I would be acting, but you go, Kenna. You do you.
And again, then Davina's all hungover and she's like, is there a croissant over there? I need some coffee and a croissant. And I'm like, I want to be at a fly on the wall right now for this moment because it was so good. It was so good. And Dare's still in awe of Blake coming out of the bathroom like a brand new woman with just like her tote bag. He's like, what just happened there? Like she rolls in and then comes out like, oh, it. Again, I could tell you that entire first opening scene like I read it 2 days ago. Don't ask me what happened yesterday. So good. So good.
I love
Oh,
it.
um, and then I guess, you know, you also write in a bunch of different genres. You just had like a fantasy romance come out. What's it like writing wise to kind of jump from one to another? Is it like a palate cleanser? Is it ever hard to kind of dive in from one to the other?
It's a palate cleanser. It's never hard. And it's really, I'm glad that I diversified early.
Yeah.
So my readers know that, I'm not just going to write small town romance or billionaire romance,
Yeah.
that anything could come from this noggin. And so, yeah, I mean, it's an entirely different process, obviously, because when you're world building it to that extreme, you're world building in any book. I mean, even if you set, like I've set a series in my hometown of Brownsburg, Indiana, I'm
Yeah.
still world building, but in fantasy, it's a lot more. And so that's a fun challenge, but it's really nice to kind of slip into the real world.
Yeah, I can imagine. What's it like having to come up with names for places? Like in a fantasy?
That's very hard.
Yeah, oh, yeah, I can imagine.
That's unless you can I have a trick.
You don't have to tell it if you don't want to, but I do love that you have a trick.
Oh no, I don't mind. I will my goal with writing fantasy or anything really is to make sure that I can draw the reader in, and so it's not it's not something that they can't connect with.
Right.
And so use I will bastardize, like for Wildest Dreams, I looked at Scandinavian gods and goddesses and town names and how, what, like in the languages, what it meant, like whole means stream, or and put things together. So it's actually based in our world, our global world, but I just fiddled with it a little bit. So it might be familiar to people, because especially, not everybody, but in America, I mean, we had so many people coming from so many different places.
Mhm.
Our town names can be anything from Native American to French to, to
Yeah.
Danish to all sorts of things. That's whether that's how people read it, but that's my trick, to not have to make something up out of thin air, but also ground us in our real world subliminally in a way.
No, I love that because now that you're saying it, like recalling when I was reading Modest, now I get it. That makes sense. Now I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. Now got it. Um, how did you find your groove as an author?
That's a really cool question. I started reading Harlequin romances when I was like 12 or 13 years old, where they kissed on the last page.
Yep.
It was closed mouth. You
Very,
know,
very PG, very Hallmark, very,
yes, yes.
yep.
I mean, I would even say G. I don't even
Yeah.
know if there's a PG. My mom was a strict mom, and she would not have let me read. I don't think I saw a PG movie until I was 16 years old. No,
Yep.
just
Yep.
wasn't that crazy. But um and so I thought there was then there was until the independent publishing boom happened. There was a definitive formula that you had to fit into, and it was very rare that anybody would go out of that formula.
Mhm.
And so I started writing within that formula, and you can see that in my ghost reincarnation books, which are some of the books that I wrote first. And I love them, but I felt constricted. And after attempting forever and ever and ever to get published and nobody wanted my books, I stopped writing for a publisher slash agent and started writing what I wanted to read, because I thought I was the only one who's going to read it. So might as well just chuck out the rules and
Yep.
write whatever I wanted. And that's when I started writing The Rock Chicks, which is my flagship series. And that's when I found my groove, just
And
to
you,
write whatever I want. And you can see that, even in traditionally published, you can see people, the people who take the chances, like J.R. Ward in the Black Dagger Brotherhood. That's not formula. I mean, she goes for it in those books.
yep.
And I think that, that's when you see things like that, you see somebody that has a voice and a vision, and they know who they are as a writer, and they put that out there. And that's how I hope my books come off, because that's what I try to do.
Yeah, I mean, you have a voice. Like there is no mistaking if someone handed me a book without the title page and without a cover and I started reading it, it's a Kristen Ashley book. And I'm glad I asked that question, and I bring it up because I was with my esthetician the other day and she wants to start writing. And I said, good for you, just sit down and write, all the great advice that you all have given over the years. I was regurgitating like it was my job. And so I said to her, pick up a Kristen Ashley book. I said, there's no, whatever the rules are. And I honestly, shout out Shannon. I hope you watch this, because you have to comment and say, yes, I totally said this, because I said, pick up a Kristen Ashley book. She's already reading J.R. Ward. I said, because there's a great examples of, there's not a rule to follow. If this is your voice and this is how you want your characters to sound, do it.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to enjoy writing. And so she actually sent me the first couple pages and said, once she heard that, it was started to flow much easier for her.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. So that makes me happy.
Yeah. It's the perfect advice. And Ruby, just to keep shouting, Ruby Dixon who would have thought you could do
honestly
furry aliens and make me fall in love? I mean, that's just, and they were just funny, and there's no, yeah.
I mean, you're right. That's no rule.
That I really, really like is when you kind of, Jenna Levine is doing that with her vampire books. I mean, they're just like these hilarious rom-coms that, anyway, yes, that's that. I could keep talking about other people's book forever, but
I know, which I love too, because I love that you read. That was another piece of advice. I said, make sure that you're reading things that you enjoy.
yes. Yeah, reading is I actually, to be honest, kind of started to get a little bit burned out with the writing process, definitely with all the rest of it, all the admin and marketing and stuff like that. And I realized a few years ago that the reason why I was getting burned out, because it wasn't because, well, it was also because I wasn't feeling my well. I was working too much, but I wasn't feeling my creative well, because I was one of those 150, 200 books a year readers. I mean, I read, and I had stopped doing that for a good long period of time. And I am so glad to be back in the reading world. And, I don't even care if it's not something that I would shout from the rooftops. I'm just in another person's imagination and their story. and I can just give it up. You get to a point, and I've talked to other writer friends, and you probably also do this a, a lot, or maybe you went through the phase, but I started editing other people's books. Like I was writing it myself, and I'm like, oh no, I have to change. Oh, she needs to change. Oh, that shouldn't be the way, because I was so in control of the narrative for so long. So freeing myself, letting myself be in other people's work, and freeing myself from that concept has been
Yeah.
amazing.
I'm so glad, because that's, to your point, you can get in a rut of just kind of gotta work, gotta work, gotta work, gotta work.
Yes.
No, it's okay to, like you said, give that creative well a little fill
Yes.
and just read something, even if it's something that you're like, this is not something I normally would have read.
Right.
And I know that we've been talking, we could talk for days, because
Okay.
I mean, we could talk for days. My last question, what is one of the most memorable messages that you've gotten from a reader? Even a recent one.
Um, I actually have a lot. I had this is a long story. I'll try to make it very short. I got an email from a reader, and it was extreme.
Okay.
Her story was um literally the worst thing a woman, wife, and mother could go through.
Boy.
She told me the whole thing. I mean,
Boy.
this email was pages and pages and pages long, and it ended on her husband coming to murder her and her children. And in order to save her children, she ran out of the house so he would follow her, screaming. And when all the lights went on in the neighborhood, he tackled her and committed suicide on top of her.
Oh my God.
And then she obviously went into the depths of despair.
Oh, of course.
And then she read my books. And I am truly, truly honored with people clicking into something that means something to them so they can find their own power. And it gets messed up. Oh, her books helped me. My books didn't help you. You helped yourself. You found something in that book that was in you, and you clicked into it, and you found your power, and then you struggled your way out of this mess.
Yeah.
And then she came to a signing, and
Oh,
uh, I signed her book and I gave it to her, and she said, "I'm the one that sent you that email." And then she booked. I just sat there, and she booked. And this woman comes up in front of her, and comes up after her and says, "That's my daughter. Thank you for saving her life." And then she books.
ladies, like, stop. Yeah, you're like,
Wait, hold on. We need to have a discussion. Lock it down. Lock it down.
like, stop those ladies. Oh my God.
That is the most dramatic, most dramatic. And anytime anybody writes like these things to me, it's meaningful to me. I remember a lot of them, if not all of them. But I saw her dancing. I saw her letting her hair down with the other rock chicks and dancing that evening. So she finally, I mean, obviously the rock chicks took her under their wing and got her going. But that was
Holy moly.
yeah. And you
I
don't
mean,
know when you're writing how you are going to touch people. And if people read your books, you're going to touch somebody.
yeah.
It's going to, what you write is going to be meaningful to somebody. And I had no idea when I was writing and not publishing what a beautiful part of this business that is to really connect with people in that manner. So,
And you bring up the rock chicks, like you've created a whole community of women who support women, who, really care about each other. So many friendships have come from it. I mean, like, I know, going to signings, I've seen people who came not knowing anybody,
yes.
who left, having a whole group of friends now that they were like connecting with because of your words. And that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it
So,
is.
I mean, listen, we're here because of you. So at where you're sitting right now, there wouldn't be a Blue Box Press. So
Right. I know. Yeah. Born in this cabin.
right, literally right there.
Literally.
I know. Well, this was so much fun, and I always love talking with you, and especially to celebrate our favorite book.
Yes.
I won't let the other books hear. Shh, we're not talking about you. It's
No,
okay.
we still love you.
We
My
still
laptop
love
is
you.
sitting on all the rest of the River Rain books. We do love you. We really, really do.
See, they're supporting you right now, literally
Yes.
raising you up. But yes, happy release week. And thank you for doing this with me. And we hope that you all enjoy this book as much as we did, and our very first YouTube video. So yay.
Yay.
Thank you all. And this was awesome. Bye, everyone.
It was awesome.